There we go, Coda. You should be able to hear me now. Sorry about that. I was actually just testing another setting. I was trying to see if there was a different way I could enable and disable the mic. Apparently not. But thanks for pointing that out to me. Yeah, I figured you can hear me now. Yeah, back to the usual settings. I'll figure out the fancy thing I wanted to do at a later point. Basically, I was wanting to set it that if I do a scene change, then it automatically mutes the mic. And I thought I'd found a very straightforward, clever way of doing that, and apparently not. So, oh well. Hi, Iguana. How you doing? How has your day been? I've been chilling out with Check Me Out earlier on voice chat, and well, there were a few of us, but in her channel, in her Discord channel. And I was watching a really cool music streamer whose name I've completely forgotten, but I saw a couple familiar faces in his chat. And he was... Oh, hey, wait. Right. Now I've got to figure out how to say that. Base car? You'll have to help me out with that one. Yes, Shinaf, there we go. Yeah, no, I had him on earlier. I was having a good listen to a lot of his stuff. He sounded really good. I'm kind of jealous that he makes music as well as he does, and I'm just sort of sitting here going, I kind of wish I could sing and do all those things, but oh well. Still very cool streamer by the sounds of it. It's actually weird. Like, to me, I like his voice, but I will say I was actually like more taken in by the guitar and the piano and the music mixing, and like not that I have any issue with his voice at all. Like, I really like his voice, but it wasn't like, to me, the number one thing that I was liking about it. But oh well, maybe that's just me. Can I still see? I can. Okay, I can still see. I was just looking for that, if you can see where I'm pointing, just to make sure that I don't lose my way to home later, because I'm just driving out into the middle of nowhere. So, base car, I can't decide if I've said your name right. You're going to have to help me out on that one if I did screw it up horribly. And there's not all that much exciting out here for me to find. So, that's fair. It takes a lot of, yeah, it absolutely takes a lot of talent. Like, sadly, talent that I don't have. I mentioned to one of my friends that I was watching him, and I was saying, like, oh, I'm so jealous this guy can do all this stuff. Because I can play the piano myself, but I think maybe the difference is I think he can sort of make stuff up as he goes along, whereas I'm very, very much stuck to whatever's on my sheet music. And then I take some time to actually learn the sheet music first before I can actually play it. But I definitely don't have that singing voice, and I don't have the sort of musical creation ability that he has. So listening to him was kind of like, damn it, I wish I could do that. And their friend was like, well, you've got the time now. You should be doing that. I was like, yeah, all I need to do is just develop a singing voice, just really quickly. I'm getting my... Did I really just get myself stuck on top of this stuff? What's the chances I can just get off it? My voice sounds like I didn't age a day past 15 or so. Is that necessarily a bad thing, Iguana? Like, maybe, I don't know, maybe people... I'm trying to decide how I make that a good thing. Maybe people want to hear the voice of a 15-year-old? I'm not sure. What does that mean exactly? Like, you have a high-pitched voice? Or... I'm just curious what the implication of that would be. But anyway, we're going to go... Wait, can I still see? Okay, I know if that's over there, then I kind of know where I am, but actually, let me just go make sure it's the same one. So for all I know, that might be a different thing than what I'm used to seeing. And then I'm pretending I know where I am, and I might actually be completely lost. I cleared this stuff up already. Wait, did I? Oh yes, that's a blank one. Yes, I did get that already. It's hard to describe, but I'd say high pitch is close enough. Okay, cool. We'll accept. But I think people tend to be overly critical of their own voices. So like I know whenever I've heard recordings of myself from like it's like radio stuff and whatever that I've been on, I always get really like, oh God, is that me? But actually one of my favorite compliments I've had, which is amusing because I was just, let me just dig up some ground so that I can do what I want to do here. But one of the favorite compliments I've ever had was somebody who said to me that they thought I had a really good voice for radio. Not face for radio, voice for radio, different concepts. And so that's really been like for a long time, it's been one of the favorite things I've heard about myself and like favorite compliments I've received, I guess. And it's ironic because Reddit was just talking about this today about like compliments people had received and that sort of thing. Okay, I'm not sure if this is the same one that I was looking at before. Which, well, in part one means that I better make sure I don't get too lost. But part two means that I've seen two buildings like this now, which is interesting in itself. Okay, actually, before I go anywhere, I'm going to place a beacon here. That is already orange. Orange has become my current work in progress color. And then I think if I just drive this way, eventually I'll spot the beacon. Commander Root has joined the channel. Welcome, bot. Nice to see you. There was a cloud in the way of my beacon, really. Here I was thinking I couldn't see it at all. Meanwhile, okay, let's go this way. Really, I need that scrap thing so that I can start, like, getting rid of all this junk that's lying around on the ground. Oh, I thought my wind turbines were falling off there. Oh, hey, yeah, no, it was a good post. I was quite enjoying reading. There was also there was another one that I was reading around the same time, so I think I've got sort of the comments mixed up in my head. But there was a second one where they were talking about like people who had best friends who no longer have those best friends anymore, and like what happened. And oh God, that was depressing. I don't know if I really wanted to read that particular post, but it was interesting to read. Can I slalom past the trees? Apparently not very well. And then, this is not a very good route that I chose. Iguana, why did you let me take this route? Let's see if I can just make it through without crashing into too many trees or rocks. Okay, I hit a rock. We're getting there. Oh God. Oh, this was a bad. There we go. We hit our first tree. Congratulations. So I've got some stuff that I want to talk about tonight. I'm actually just giving it a few minutes because I know there's. Let me sit up straight. There's some other people that were talking about joining. So I thought I'd save on the sort of jumping into the main mental health topic of the night until they get here. Plus, I've really been bad at like, instead of sticking to a set time for stream, I've just been sort of putting it on when I'm ready to, which is kind of rubbish. Had a harsher word in mind there, but rubbish. And so I think for the people who are actually wanting to come join, it's kind of screwing them over a little bit. Okay, what do I want here? I want to see what it takes to build a shelter. Let me just pull off. Is there anything on here? No. Okay, that can go back on. Then it's just the wind thing I want. Come here. And we'll stick that on there. Look how many of these I've found lately. Hey Iguana, you're a handy target, so why not? And I've just realized, base car, that's very rude of me. I should probably mention a little bit about what I do here, seeing as you've kindly decided to join, even though I'm just blabbering about my game and Reddit at the moment. I'm here to talk about mental health topics in general, and specifically I want to share knowledge that I have as a psychologist with people that can potentially help them to improve on their own mental health states. I think there's a lot of things that psychologists know that can be quite useful for people, and while you can absolutely see your own psychologist, and obviously I'm not anybody's therapist online here, but I think there's a lot of stuff that's swimming around in my head that can be useful to other people to know. So that's actually one of the things I want to talk about tonight. I'm just giving it a little bit more time to see if other people join in before we get to that conversation. So for now, we'll just have some general chat and play some Astroneer, decide if I'm ever going to find copper or if that's a lost cause. And then I've actually, now that I've got I want to see the shelter. Now that I've got 2 sets of extenders, I could go reattach that solar panel I found before, or at least bring it a little bit closer to where I am. Okay, let's go look at this one and see. Alright, silicone and plastic I definitely don't have. What can we make here? Speaking of scheduling, I have to start waking up at 6 a.m. this quarter at uni, so early bedtime's coming up. Oh dear. Iguana, I don't envy you that one. I didn't know you were... Are you a student, or are you working there, or what's happening there? Good for you, but the internet tends to stay... Yeah, no, I understand that, you know, especially ever since... actually, when I was in South Africa and catching Dr. Mick's stream, it was actually a bit strange because it was ridiculously early in the morning. Like, it would start at 6:30 in the morning each time, but I happen to generally be pretty much a morning person. But whereas ever since we've moved, I haven't actually been going to bed at decent times, and that's meant that in the mornings I wake up at like 9 o'clock these days. I am a student, yes, working my first bachelor's. Ah, that's really cool, Iguana. I'm gonna take a guess and say you're working in a coding bachelor's, seeing as that's in it. I could be wrong. Maybe that's just your hobby, but that would be my first guess, to say you're working on something IT related. Don't need that. Oh, and my cat feeders just went off in the background. I just heard them clanging away. I'm actually feeling slightly stuck in the game at the moment because I feel like there's not a lot of stuff that I can really work towards building. But let me just go look through what I have and see. Small battery extenders, which need copper, so I can't do that. Okay, so I'm actually just looking through everything in my research thing just to get a sense of, is there some sort of key component that I could be building now? So far I'm not having that inspiration, but we'll see. Dynamite and fireworks are always fun, but no. Packages, 1.9. Okay. Information security and networking. I like coding, but I wouldn't do it full time. See, that was always my thought. Like, when I went to university for my undergrad, I wasn't completely sure what I wanted to do at the time, but my thought about it was kind of like, if I do want to get into coding one day, which is ironic because I'm kind of half on the fence of getting into Android coding at the moment. But my thought was, if I do want to get into it, then I could learn it on my own, and you don't necessarily need a degree for that. Whereas the main reason I pursued the psychology was I realized you can't be a sort of for fun psychologist. Either you are a psychologist or you're not. Whereas IT, it's free to anybody who's got the skills in it. So that was sort of my thinking as to why I didn't pursue coding related stuff for my undergrad. Let's see. Okay. Medium storage, platforms. I don't care. A shredder, but now shredder needs iron, and I don't have iron. Tractor trailers I've done already. Drills. I mean, I could make a solid fuel thruster, but I have nothing to use it on, so don't think it does much for me. I haven't found any tungsten. No, not that one either. Okay, let's go look through these and see. Landing pad, I have nothing to land on. Chemistry lab, I need tungsten again, which I don't have. Plastic I don't have. See, I keep thinking, my thought keeps going, like, if I build something like a, trade platform would also work, but like a trade platform or a chemistry lab, or maybe one of those would give me other resources, but I don't have the resources to build them, so it doesn't help me much. Shredder I can't do. Crane wouldn't do much, but I can't do it anyway. And then let's see, solar array. No, I'd love extra large storage, but not happening yet. And see now, a shuttle would only cost me aluminum. Maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe I need to make this. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna. Oh, I've got 23,000 research points. Okay, I need those thrusters I saw before. Were they in here? They were towards the bottom of the list, wherever they were. Oh, there they are. Solid fuel thruster. Okay. So should I just make myself a shuttle then? And like, I don't know, disappear off somewhere? Okay, well, I'm gonna have to move my large printer anyway, because right now... there we go. Okay, that should work. And then, yeah, small shuttle to aluminum. I have aluminum, don't I? Yes. Let's build a shuttle. Okay. My big annoyance with No Man's Sky, never enough storage. Oh, you can hear the game. Awesome. That's really weird, though. Like, I don't think I did anything different as far as the game goes, but hey, you can hear it. I'm happy. Maybe I was just talking too much before. Maybe that was it. Well, originally I was holding off for other people to arrive before we started talking about the topic, but I don't know. I don't know if they're not joining or if they're a bit delayed or what's going on, but maybe we should jump into it just now. And first I'll drink some Dr. Pepper and watch my shuttle build. I'm assuming I'll build the thruster somewhere else. Or maybe not. Okay. Wait, it wouldn't be a small one, surely. Oh, it is! Ammonium and aluminum. Okay. Aluminum. And ammonium I can get out of my centrifuge. Except I probably need more soil in it before I can. Ammonium. Yeah, okay, I need more. Okay, let's get some ammonium. Okay, that'll do its thing, although I'll need more for the fuel thingy just now. Oh my god, can I pick that up? Oh, I can. Oh, and that squeak was glorious. We'll put it over there for now. Jeez, that's huge. I'm assuming I'm going to need a bunch of storage for that, which means I'll need more resin. And okay, let's go back here and check. Do I need to make a fancy seat for it, or can I just use one of the seats I've got? Oh. And there's my ammonium. Come here, pretty. Did I already have an ammonium somewhere? I think I maybe did. Oh well. Let's go look at this one. This one. Solid fuel thruster. Go. I'm assuming it's going to use ammonium, probably, for thrusting. I don't know. Let's find out. Okay. Am I gonna... Oh, I need a landing pad. Wait, do I? No. That is a landing pad. Okay, okay. Now let's... There we go. We put that there. There we go. Okay. I think this should work. I was about to hit the crouch button and then remembered this game doesn't crouch. Okay. Limited fuel capacity. Good for a round trip. Right. Okay. I'm guessing I probably have no fuel, so I can't launch. Oh, do I need an oxygenator? Oh, that really looks like I need an oxygenator. Oh, but I have one in my base. Here, this one, isn't it? Or is it not? Is it this one? Oxygenator. Ah, oxygenator, okay. Then limited fuel capacity. But it doesn't say... At the very least I need storage to take with this thing, surely. It can't just be my own backpack. Oh god, that'll be such a pain in the neck if I have to do it that way. Okay, let's go drop some stuff off. And we'll figure that out in a moment. Drop off this and one of those. Wait, did I just... Wait. Yes, okay. Canister. Actually, the canister we can connect to there. And then put on here. What would I want to take with me if I'm going to a new planet? Battery would make sense. Light is good. Canister is good. All of those I'm happy with. I'd probably want some compound and some resin, I imagine. Should probably be thinking about this a little more carefully, but oh well. Do you think the rocket just takes off? Do you think it's already got the fuel like pre-made in it? Huh. Limited fuel capacity, good for a round trip. Now let's jump in it and see, shall we? If we just hit launch. Okay, off we go. Hey, M-Dash! Nice of you to join in. I see you. Oh, hello. I think this is my first time up in space since... Oh, jeez. Since not being an alpha. Jeez, is that far away? Holy cow. It's like a quarter of the way around the planet. See, Iguana, this was exactly why we waited for one more person. Am I gonna go? I might just go to a different planet, purely because I'm hoping to find some resources I don't have. Yeah, to the moon would make sense. I probably just need to, like, wait to go around one more time. I'm assuming I'm just gonna click on the moon once I want to go to it. Let me just float around until the moon pops back into... Oh, I feel upside down and I can't really correct it. Okay, there. Come here, moon. How do I just... Oh, there we go. Okay. We'll go there, please. I really, really hope I'm not stranding myself on this planet, but we'll find that out in just a moment. Oh, hello. And now... Where are we landing? Do they have particular... Oh yes, they do have particular spots. We'll go for that bubble in the middle there. It'll be really nice if this gets me here and then gets me home. I will appreciate that. You've never seen this before? Oh my god, this is... Oh, I'm in a hole. Oh god. Exit. I hope I can launch from there. Okay, have I got any tethers? Oh yeah, so I should introduce you to the game before we jump to mental health topic, just so that you know what I'm running around doing. This is Astroneer. This is a sandbox exploration game, I suppose we'd call it. A few people have compared it to things like No Man's Sky, or there's been comparisons to Minecraft. Basically, the idea is I started on that planet, and the idea is I collect resources, build up a base, get technologies, eventually, like I've just done now for the first time, fly off to other planets and hopefully collect resources there. So now my idea is I'm going to go run around the moon and see if I can find some good things to do out here. I didn't even fill up my backpack. I was a very disorganized explorer here. I didn't think this through very carefully, but oh well. So you can see there's a little blue line that, right there, connects me, you can see a little bit of it, connects me to this thing. So there's a machine in there that gives me oxygen. If I run too far, I lose that oxygen. Ah, is that? Tell me that's... Oh, ammonium. Oh, okay, not what I expected. So I can place little tether things that connect me to the oxygen. And if I stray too far from them, then I lose my oxygen supply. And my tank carries some oxygen, but eventually I'll run out of it. Ooh, what do those nasty guys do? They look huge. Okay, nothing too special, great. Oh, jeez. What are you? Can be planted or researched. Well, we want at least one of them to take back to Earth with us. And then I don't have space for that one. Okay, let's just put it there. Now, I'm actually probably going to have to run back to the rocket quickly to drop some of the stuff off. That's what I was looking for. There we go. They're not actually that exciting. Oh well. Okay, let's go. I'm not sure if there's wind on this planet. Okay, stop right there, please. We're going to make a little hole in the ground here. And we're going to drop off some of the stuff we brought along with us and some of the stuff we've just gathered as well. So I don't really need to keep most of that with me. I'm assuming this thing generates power for me as well. I hope it does. Oh, and I see Tade has joined. And Tade, I still hope you're a user, but I don't know. I'm waiting for somebody to let me know if you are or not. Oh, and in the meantime, I'm going to run over here. Nope. By the way, M-Dash, how are you doing? I didn't even ask. Graphite. I don't really want graphite, but we'll grab some of it. Okay, 2 pieces of that is fine. And the giant hole in the ground with nothing in it. Okay, interesting. Research those and research those. I'm actually looking for resources that I don't have back home. That would be ideal. Come here. See, now I've gotten too invested in exploring a new planet that I'm not paying attention to mental health topic for the night. Well done, me. Oh, there's that crashed thingy there. Hopefully it's got nice stuff on it. Okay, we're going to go down here. Wait, I can take that one a little bit further, can't I? There. Okay. And we're going to get rid of those before we get too near to them. And go on. And, ooh, goodness, jeez. I didn't expect such big explosions. Okay. I'm surprisingly good, had a good day at work and just recharging now. That's awesome. Kind of sad that we don't have Dr. Mick to recharge with. I think, weren't we supposed to be playing, what's his name, Jackbox tonight, if I remember right? Oh, and I've run out of tethers. Okay, let's make some more of those. That looks dodge. I'm going to not go too close to it. Well, I'm glad to see you're so good in that. Lead is actually live right now. Oh, okay. Visit a few other channels. Teed, sorry. Visit a few other channels and they appear in those too. So I think they're using a misconfigured bot and joined a bunch of all Twitch channels. Okay. Okay, good to know. Ooh. Oh, I hear what sounds suspiciously like a windstorm. Huh. That, and now it's gone again. Nope. I don't want to get caught in a windstorm. And what is that spire? But we'll see what happens. Nope, that was a little too early. Okay, let's go see what's been left behind for me here. Is that? No, damn it! I want copper. Why will that, and scrap? I don't care. Zinc, I don't really care. Alright, let's get in there. I want this one laterite. I don't even have space for it, but I don't actually want it either. Can't just throw it away there. And I hear wind, so I'm worried if I just drop this down here, it might actually blow away at some point. So I'm going to run all the way back to base, just to drop off the few things I've just collected. It's not too far yet. Doing a right calm before the storm here. I have a rigorous scheduled uni starting Monday and it's giving me some anxiety. But for now, it's a sunny, warm day. Iguana, I'm sorry about the anxiety. I hope it's nothing all too scary. I can't. I've realized, I've seen people talk about like sort of mental health stuff that affects them at times, but I haven't really sort of locked that into my mind to go, oh, this person deals with that issue and that person. So that's something you struggle with, or just anxiety like people would expect for that sort of situation? And if you, well, as always, if you don't mind me asking, I'm just curious. Okay, we're going to drop off this stuff, and this stuff, and this stuff, and this stuff. We'll keep the batteries, we'll keep the tethers. We'll pick up a compound in case we need some more tethers, which I'm pretty sure we'll need at some point. And then we'll run back over there. Come here. So, uni can be super intense. I can relate to that. I gotta say, like, I totally get that uni can be really intense, but at the same time, like, I guess in my mind, some of my best memories are from university days. So, okay, gravity's not too bad here. So whenever I'm busy sorting out my registration at 2 Canadian universities. There's a couple courses I'm required to take for my professional registration, and I'm actually like super excited about it. I mean, there'll be some anxiety about the courses because I have to pass them in order to get my registration sorted. But like, I can't wait to be a student. It's going to be really cool. Ooh, interesting. Huh. I did not expect to find these here. Okay, and you, and a small battery, and a medium. God, it's like they're trying to help me set up a base right here. No, I don't want the debris. You can keep the debris. Ooh. And another packager. Jeez, I can't believe they just gifted me a bunch of packages. Or packagers. Okay, if we just put this here, we can keep running and pick it up when we come back again, I suppose. I ran out? Yes, I ran out. Let's build some more. Okay, let's go see. You'll be able to get through it and pace yourself. That's really a really thoughtful thing to say, Amdash. The pacing yourself, I think, is definitely useful. I have a mystery chronic disease which makes everything extra complicated, and that's usually what fuels the anxiety. It can be completely destroying when it decides to really act up. Mornings are special favorites for that. Oh man, Iguana, I'm sorry. That really sucks. Jeez. I hope you can at least at some point figure out what the mystery is, because I figure once you've at least... It's kind of one of the main reasons I'm like okay with mental health diagnoses and things is because for so many people, once you can put a name to it, it just makes life a lot more manageable. People then sort of have an idea of, oh right, this is something I can do to help me deal with it. So I hope you can at least get a name for it at some point for yourself. It's nice just to take time and rest. Relax rather, yeah. So, on to the topic I've been avoiding for a while now. I wanted to talk about how we understand our control over our mental health itself and over the things that affect our mental health. And it's that second part in particular, the things that affect our mental health, that's really of interest to me. So there's some therapeutic theory that I use quite a lot of that follows the original theory follows this idea a little more intensely than I think I would on my own, but the basic concept in it is to say that we like to talk about this idea that things make us anxious and things make us depressed, and it's always this very externalized idea of the world makes me this, that, and the other thing. Why does that not go in there? I thought it should. Huh? Okay. let me just read, sorry. Glad I'm able to work now that I'm over mono. It relax. Oh, M-Dash, I remember you spoke about that mono before. That sounded really sucky. That's so true. I've been seeing close to 10 different doctors or specialists in the last few years, and you almost dream that each test will come back positive just so that you have a name. Hard to fight an invisible, unknown enemy. Oh man, Iguana, I'm sorry. I suppose it makes sense, if you've been dealing with it for a while, that, you've been seeking ways to deal with it as well as you can, but hopefully somewhere along the line some medical person will go, oh, I know what this is, and make your day, even though it's hearing bad news in a way, but you know what I mean. But yeah. Oh, and more tethers, please. I hate when I have to turn around to place these things. There we go. It's definitely sucky. I'm glad to be virtually over it. Almost there, M-Dash. But I'm glad it's so much better now. Come on. Oh, really? That 1 millimeter was the difference between connecting and not. Sus. That's an interesting looking one. Okay, I'm gonna run over this way first. Make my way through this sea of exploding plants. Jeez, there's so many of these seeds. Okay, but I want to go up here. Ooh, but now I have a research item and a solar panel to carry back. But anyway, so I was talking about something. Oh man, major fatigue is one of my symptoms. I can somewhat relate. I gotta say, like, to me, I always imagine that's the worst part of depression, is that sort of never-ending fatigue. What is that? Yeah, I know insert appropriate resource, but what resource? Ooh, jeez, and that is a very square hole. Huh. Well, what would make my inner geologist, which doesn't exist, is sort of looking at this, going, "What the hell would make such a really like flat-sided thing?" But anyway, I'm looking for interesting things, not holes in the ground. Wow. More interesting things rather than holes in the ground. But yeah, so this theory that I use quite extensively, they talk about this idea that mental health stuff people so often attribute to, a death in the family has made me depressed, or my job is making me anxious, or they talk about things in a very like their own mental health in a very external way. And the theory makes the case to say that actually there's a lot more inside of us that contributes to the way our mental health is, rather than just things that happen and cause us to feel certain ways. Hello, Czech. Nice to see you. So yeah, earlier on when it was just me and Iguana, I was saying to him we were just waiting for somebody that I knew that was coming, and that was you. But we already started talking, so sorry, you missed the intro, so sorry, Czech. No, it's all good. I am busy trying to hold on to conversation while also exploring the moon. As one does. Which is ironic, because I was just listening to a podcast about the Chinese and their trip to the moon recently. But anyway, wrong topic. I'll get back on topic. I don't want compound. I mean, it's nice, but I don't want compound. He says as he digs compound out of the ground. Okay. Wait. I heard it pling, but where did it go? Compound. Huh? It plinged at me, but I don't have it in my bag. I'm very confused. There. Okay, let me just place that last tether. Because I think there's some sort of bug there that's just making the stuff disappear. Okay. Now, okay, well, it's down there at least. Okay, cool. Got it. I got caught talking to a friend and eating dinner. I suppose I'll let you off for eating dinner. Check. That's okay, I guess. So this idea that oh, by the way, the theory is from a therapy system called rational emotive behavioral therapy, REBT. It's kind of the grandfather of CBT in a way, and they push this idea to say that we're actually in far more control of our mental health than we give ourselves credit for. Now, being a CBT related thing, it's very connected to the idea of our thoughts and how our thought processes affect our emotions and affect our behavior. And then, they're all kind of interlinked, that then behavior and emotions affect our thoughts. And there's a degree of a cycle in it, but where am I going? Going over to that funny monument thingy. And so what we do when we use it in therapy is we try to teach people how to use their thoughts to impact their emotions and impact their behavior in positive ways, and kind of change that cycle somewhat, that it can be more productive and more beneficial and less harmful to themselves. I don't know why every time I see these I think something inside me is just compelled, like dig them all out, and I can't reach them. Where am I going? I'm kind of just running haphazardly, but I do want to go this way. Yeah, I do want to go this way. Okay. But anyway, so what I like about that theory and teaching it to clients is that it really gets people thinking about the amount of control that they exert over their own mental health. And I think, people oftentimes get into a very, what can I call it? Like a very kind of helpless approach to their mental health, that they just sort of take this approach of, oh, I've got anxiety and I'm stuck with it, and wow, that's just my lot in life, and that sucks. And I really wish people would get to be a little more familiar with what they can and can't control in that process, so that they can take as much control as possible. I do want to also go get more compounds so I can make more tethers. But I do want to emphasize, this theory is not trying to tell us that we control everything and we are solely responsible for our own mental health. There is an acknowledgement in it that says we're not in control of everything that affects our mental health, but likely there are many things that we're not aware of that can affect our mental health in positive ways. This here, and then we'll put this here once it's finished. Okay, we should be good for a while. Except I have no space in my bag, even if I find good stuff out here. Oh well. And so this idea of talking about the control we have over our mental health is something that I want to promote with people, so people at the very least can understand, oh right, these are the sorts of things that I can and can't do that will affect my mental health. Still running in a straight line. Are those trees? Why are there trees on the moon? Oh, one more time, please. Oh god, I'm really useless at this, aren't I? Oh well. Just want to. Yeah, it's organic. How strange. And that's a research item. I'm not going to be able to carry all this stuff back again. Ooh. And I didn't bring a beacon, so the next time I come to the moon, I'm not going to know where to go. Ooh, I'm on a mountain. So in terms of this stuff that we control, I can get down with that paradigm. Cool. Honestly, to me, I use it extensively in my therapy process, so and in my personal life as well. I mean, it only makes sense to me that as a therapist, I believe in the stuff that I teach people, and I use it personally as well. If I didn't, if a therapist didn't believe their own stuff, I'd be a bit worried about why they're using it with clients. Okay, giant explosion done. I swear, maybe I just run faster on the moon. Usually, on the home planet, by the time I run out of tether, as long as I catch it just as I run out, I just hit T the moment I think of it, and it drops another tether and I'm fine. But on this planet, apparently I move too quickly, so that by the time I think of it, okay, that one I preempted, but by the time I think of it, it just isn't connected. I've gone too far, but oh well. Oh yeah, so getting back on topic. I survived. The three major sort of content areas that I want to cover when talking about this control thing is three major elements that affect our mental health. It's our behavior, our thoughts, and our emotions. And I think people unconsciously, at the very least, I've run out of tethers, unconsciously don't understand the control they have over those three elements. And so I want to kind of lay it out in black and white. Now, sorry to get distracted once again. I think this structure is going to let me teleport back to my home planet once I have it set up properly. But right now, I know I have to give it power, but beyond that, I have no idea how to set it up properly. So we're just going to leave it for now. Okay, that was fun. And I see more resin. I see a lot of stuff I really don't want. Oh, and I fell off. So when I think about these, sorry, I'd love to stick around more, but I need to get ready for bed so I can wake up earlier. Good night, Iguana. I hope your new sleeping habit becomes habit soon. Can I stick that on there by any chance? No, I can't. Okay. Yeah, have a good night, Iguana. So I still want to call you Coder. God, it's going to take me a long time to kick that habit. So to me, when we're talking about emotions, thoughts, and behavior, I like to start with the behavior part of it, because really I think of the three, it's the one we have the most control of. You know, I usually sort of, if I'm sitting in a room explaining to people, I say we have, and I want to see myself on the camera to get the maximum space. We have this much control over our behavior, and I don't know the exact amount. You know, whether it's I wouldn't call it 100%, but 90%, 80%, something of that sort. So, as a silly example, if I choose to wiggle my finger, I can wiggle my finger. And if I choose to stop wiggling my finger, I can stop wiggling my finger. And it's a really simple demonstration that, I've got a lot of control over my behavior. I can start it and stop my behavior as I like. Now, it's important to that to add to that there's behavior that I don't have control over. So, for example, let me move my headphones for a second, because I usually do this talk without the headphones. As an example, I can't wiggle my ears. I try really hard. I sort of focus hard, and I can't get them to move. Now, of course, I could do this, but I think that's kind of cheating. I think technically, when you wiggle your ears, you're supposed to be able to do it on your own, and I can't. And I know there's people out there that can wiggle their ears, but sadly, I'm not one of. Well, at least so far, I'm not one of those people. I just haven't figured out how to do it. And on the one hand, it says to me, there's behaviors that I can control that other people can't, and behaviors that other people control that I can't, and that's okay. It just gives me the general idea of there's a lot of behavior that I can control. Physically, behaviorally, I really have a lot of control, but there's things missing out from that, and that's okay. After the behavioral control, if the behavior one, I keep trying to look at the webcam to sort of get an idea of how big can I make my hands go so that you can actually see them. High active energy. I still wonder if you might not be a bot as well, but welcome to the channel if you're not. So behavior, if we have this much control, I'd argue, and usually I sort of have my hands out there, but you can't see it that much on the webcam, so I have to go this much. If behavior is this much control, I'd say our thoughts, we've got about that much control. So it's a good chunk less than behavior, but nonetheless, it's still control. We still have a lot of control over that. And so the example I'll use with a lot of people, actually, I used the same example for a slightly different purpose in a previous stream, I think a couple of days ago. But I used the example of a pink elephant to say, I'd like you to picture in your mind as clearly and vividly as you can. Oh, I've got two of these now, and there's still a solar panel I need to juggle too. Wait, I've got Packers. Yes. Oh, I'm happy. Okay. Look at this lovely stuff. Into the bag they go. I'm happy. Okay. So to try and picture in your mind as clearly as you can a pink elephant, and bright, it's pink, it's elephanty, it's doing, good night M dash, it's doing whatever you think a pink elephant is supposed to be doing. And once you've got that image like really clear in your head, then to say, okay, now to demonstrate the lack of control we have over our thoughts. Hey, Kilroy, how you doing? Good to see you here, man. Cheers to you. Yeah, I'll cheers my Dr. Pepper to you. Sorry, M dash, you're saying goodnight to Coder. My bad. Okay. Cool. Glad you're still here then. Alright, so then the control we have over our thoughts. Once you've got this pink elephant, you've got it in your head. It's really clear. It's really vivid. You've got this pink elephant dancing around in your head. Then I say, right, for the next 10 seconds, what I want you to do is stop thinking of a pink elephant. Can you do that? And I'll give you the 10 seconds. Give it a try. See if you can stop yourself thinking of a pink elephant. Who forgot this went live? What went live, Kilroy? I'm confused. You went live? I'm missing something. I'm not sure. Wait, I can pack this as well. Packer. The is it the You Matter one? Ah, cool. Wait, is it? Yeah, it is the You Matter. Okay, doesn't show that clearly on my chat thingy here. Wait, did I? I think I dug this one out from the other side already, but let me just double check. Yes, I've already emptied this. So, okay, cool. Actually, I gotta say, I do look forward to the day where I get to make some emotes myself as well, but not just yet. That'll have to wait a little bit. But yeah, so this pink elephant thing. Usually when you ask people to conjure the pink elephant into their minds, they sort of go, yeah, no problem, there's the pink elephant. And there's some people that struggle a little with visualization, but the concept is to show you can get a thought into your head if you want to. You just have to, you just conjure it up into your mind as you like. Whereas once the thought is there, and we introduce this idea of trying to get a thought out of your head, most people struggle with that, to sort of go, okay, no, I'm having a hard time getting rid of the pink elephant. And what will often happen, people might start to sort of think quite hard about other stuff. So for example, I'll jump my head to my go-to is a blue dog. And I'll think really hard about that. And it can be successful to a degree. But, the issue with that is that it only lasts for as long as we can well, it varies, but potentially it only lasts for as long as we focus on that new thought. As soon as we lose that focus, we're potentially at risk of the pink elephant jumping back into our heads again. So whereas the behavior, I could start and stop the behavior as I want to, the thoughts, we start to understand this idea that I can start thoughts as I like. I can make a thought come into my head, but I don't really have the power to stop a thought. And this is always interesting to me, because as much as this is the case, people like to say things like if you've ever broken up, had a bad breakup with an ex, or know someone that has, there's often the sentiment of, I just don't want to think about him anymore. I don't want to think about her face. I don't want to think about anything to do with that person. And it's such an ironic idea to me that people want to stop a thought in their heads, that really we don't have the power to do this, and yet we try to. And there's all sorts of ways that we cheat the system a little as well. So for example, substances are a good one. People drink to forget, quite literally, and that works as long as the substance is in effect, and then eventually the substance runs out and the thought is still lurking around there. And the tricky part is the more salient or important that thought is, the more likely it is it's going to pop into your head. And our unconsciouses are pretty good with that, to say, hey, this is an important thing, you should be thinking of this occasionally. It's getting dark up here. Huh. Okay. Do I have more compound here, or do I need to go dig up some more? But so if people can learn to understand this idea that they are able to control their focus. No, I didn't want to pick that up. That they can choose. I did it twice. They can choose things to focus on, but they can't necessarily blot a thought out of their head, then I think that can be really helpful and really healthy, because then people can let go of this expectation of telling themselves, just stop thinking about X, and start to be a little more accepting to say, you know what, I can't stop that thought from popping into my head, but I can choose whether or not I focus on that thought. And so whenever that thought pops in, it shows up, it's there, we notice it, and then we let it drift away and we focus back again on whatever we deem to be more important to us. I don't know if all of you practice this, but Check, I know you're fairly familiar with like meditation related stuff. Some of this will probably sound quite familiar, the idea of unwanted intrusive thoughts popping into your head, noticing them and letting them fade away. As one of the things I really love about meditation is it implicitly teaches a lot of what's involved in this process. I don't actually know what I'm running back to get now, but I was going this way before, so let's just go back again and see what we can find. Oh, excuse me. So we've had two layers so far. We've had behaviors that you have a lot of control over. You can start them and you can stop them on a whim, just about, with more or less complete control, with maybe lacking a little bit. You've got thoughts that you can start the emotions as you like, you can start the thoughts as you like, but you can't always stop the thoughts as you like. So that was behavioral control and thought control. I'd say the control we have of our emotions is probably a teeny tiny little bit like this. Now you notice, I'm not saying it's zero control. We do still have control over our emotions, but to demonstrate the idea again, if I said to you, I want you to make yourself feel excited. Ready, go. How did that go? Do you feel excited? Did you generate a whole bunch of excitement right in the moment that I told you to do that? My guess would be either no, you were completely unsuccessful, or possibly that you were partially successful, but not, a little bit, yeah. And now I wonder if I asked you, how did you do that? How did you create excitement within you? Was there a particular process to that? And I'll give you a chance to respond to that, because I find this often quite a telling bit as well. I'm just going to follow my tether line in the meantime while I wait for a... No, not very excited. But that implies there's a little bit of excitement, potentially. And it's okay, if you had zero excitement from that process, that's fine. But if you manage to create some excitement, I wonder if you can explain the process that went into creating that excitement. There we go. Okay, so I thought about visiting the amusement park, and that makes a lot of sense. I think people will often sort of conjure a memory of something to go, oh well, at one time I went to the amusement park, or a few months ago when I had my birthday party, or when I was flying to this place, or either that, or they'll conjure a future sort of dream or anticipation of something to say, oh, I've got this trip coming up in June, I'm going to this place, or something along those lines. And so they'll think of something. Another way that you can do it is, rather than check the shadow growing, that's really cool. Sorry, I just noticed that. I got excited there. Another way people can do that is potentially behaviorally. So for example, if you were to take your breathing and just sort of go something along the lines of something along those lines, there'd be, for a lot of people, it depends on the frame of mind they're in. For some people, there might be some excitement. For some people, it might be a bit of anxiety, there could be other stuff that comes in there as well. It might be if you put on some music and started dancing up and down really excitedly to it, that would generate some excitement as well. But if you notice, we're using thoughts about things and behaviors, those things that we have a lot more control over, to influence this thing that we have a very little control over. Hi, K-Girl. Nice of you to join. I'm glad you could make it. And so in generating that excitement, you used something that you had a lot more control over, either that thought process that you could start a thought on a whim, or the behavioral process where you can start dancing on a whim. And you use that to influence those emotions where you have so little control. And to me, that's the key element in this, to understand this idea that for the most part, we don't just conjure emotions out of nowhere. We can affect their creation by thinking certain things or doing certain things, and we have a fair amount of control over those, but we can't necessarily just directly control them. Now, to show the other side of this, which you might be a little more familiar with, if you've already got an emotion, it's a pity Iguana's not here anymore because he had a nice example of it earlier, but for example, he was experiencing that anxiety before, and I'd almost want to say, okay, if you wanted to just switch that emotion off, how would you do that? Could you do that? How would you go about it? Most people would say, well, no, I can't switch it off completely, but I can do a little bit. I can think about something else. I can play a video game. And once again, there's thoughts, there's behaviors, those two things that we have more control over, influencing the thing that we have very little control over. And so understanding these three layers of behaviors that you can start and stop as you like. Alcohol. And we covered that one earlier, K-Girl. But you're completely right. In the short term, alcohol is fantastic for that. That you drink alcohol, it makes the emotion go away. You feel, specifically most people will use it for negative emotions. You take the negative emotion away, but then you wake up the next morning and not only is the same emotion that you try to get rid of back again, but now you've also layered on things like, oh, guilt, I can't believe I did that, and oh, regret, I shouldn't have done that, and oh, anxiety, what's this going to do to my work day, and so on and so on. And so you kind of, with substances, you often end up with a bigger mess than what you started with in the first place. So short term, hooray, long term, questionable. So, but I don't want to discount it. You're absolutely right. And potentially, it's something to consider that, if you have a moment where you say, look, right this instant, right now, I cannot tolerate all this anxiety I'm experiencing. By all means, have a drink of alcohol, if that's going to help calm you down. So, for example, I've heard people talk about, like people in the entertainment industry, they'll often talk about the idea of, feeling anxious appearing in front of people or talking in front of people. And so just before they go on, they'll drink a glass of wine. And so potentially it's not so much that it's it's funny that I can't think of the word that I want to use when I'm trying to talk about that idea, but it's not making them unable to function the way they want to function. It's just a temporary relief of that anxiety for the period they need it. And the likelihood is it won't really have strong negative after effects, well, at least if it's one glass of wine for most people. We're going to go over this way. Now that I've been monologuing for a while, let me put some gameplay into it as well. So, something like substance use, drinking alcohol or other substances, is something worth considering. I just want people to be open-minded about, yes, there's a good effect of it in the short term, but we need to compare it to what effects there might be in the long term and so on and so on. So now that we get this sort of model in our minds of the amount of control we have over emotions, over thoughts, and over behavior, and then you think about the way people approach most of these things. Most of the time, people talk about their feelings. They say, oh God, I wish I wasn't so depressed, so anxious, so sad, so fearful, so all these emotions. These emotions must just go away. And they really focus really intensely on that. And to a slightly lesser degree, they focus on the thoughts. They go, I wish I could stop thinking about my ex, about the test, about that stuff that happened last year, whatever it is. And comparatively, they don't think very much about the behavioral part to go, I wish I wasn't doing this or doing. But really, we've kind of got it the wrong way around completely, because the fact that we have so much control over our behavior says we should be, or it's useful for us to put more. Oh, hello, cat. My cat Louis just decided to jump past the mic and crash into it on his way to sitting on my desk. Hello, kitty. It makes so much more sense for us to focus on, first of all, our behavior, to say, hey, I can really control this behavior to a large degree. Let me do what I can there to influence my mental health. Kitty is sniffing my microphone, so if you hear weird breathing noises, it's not me, I promise. I suspect he'll get bored of sitting here soon and he'll wander back down past the mic. And then secondly, to influence our thought processes, to go, okay, let me consider not what thoughts I want to stop, because I know I don't have that control, but rather what thoughts do I want to focus on? What thoughts do I want to bring into my mind to start because that's the control I do have. And the more people can learn to focus on those elements of control that they do have, the more likely they're going to be successful in controlling those factors influencing their mental health. And there goes Kitty. Good boy, Louis. Let me get these quickly. Come on. I really don't want this many seeds. Like, I get that there's seeds, but oh well. We'll take them back to the base. A backpack full, I'm not surprised. And I really, really would like to find like copper or something. Okay, let's... Ooh, cat. Now my cat is running past my legs, but just enough to tickle them as opposed to like rubbing against them nicely. Oh well, well done, Kitty. I see a research item over there, and I ran out of tethers, and I can still make more. Okay. Let me grab some more drink in the meantime. And that's the kind of the model of control that I'd like people to take away, to have this idea. Oh, no, that's just more research stuff. That's resin. I don't know what that is. And this is compound. Which actually, I can grab some more compound while I'm here. Let's stick this in here. Kitty! Kitty has... I'm not sure. Kitty's gone somewhere, but I'm not entirely sure where. I should probably watch where I'm running so I don't fall off the map or fall down a hole. I think this is the fastest way to run with these items. Or at least without having to toss it in the air all the time. But yeah, so this model of control, to say, okay, we have a lot of control over our behavior, a moderate amount of control. Where are we going? He says as he loses control of his behavior. We have a large amount of control of our behavior, a moderate amount of control over our thoughts, and a very small amount of control over our emotions. If we can keep that in mind when we're dealing with our mental health, that can really be productive in focusing our energies towards what makes the most sense to really affect our mental health in the most optimal way. Now there's a lot of stuff there's a lot of other implications that lead off of this. I don't want to get into all of them now necessarily, because I like for that one idea about control to just kind of have time to sink in a little bit, and then once we've started that thought appropriately, I caught it. Once we've got that thought well and truly in place, then we can move on to all the other kinds of implications that might have. So what I'll suggest, I'm just going to just introduce that one idea this time, and then at a later point we'll continue on to more advanced topics, if that's all right with you guys. Any questions, class? No, don't fall down the hole. Actually, I wonder, jumping around here might actually be quite an effective way to move around if there's low gravity. I need to sit up straight. Jeez, look at how fast that planet is moving. Jeez. The sun is rotating at a ridiculous speed. What is this? Okay. That model makes a lot of sense. I'm glad it does, M-Dash. And what I love about it particularly is that it's kind of, I keep hinting at this idea without really explaining more, but like it layers into a lot of things. So to give an example, there's some therapeutic theory stuff that focuses to a large degree on the concept of acceptance, that it says a lot of people are really fixated on avoiding their emotions, and that it's a lot healthier. Oh, okay, girl, I've got to read a wall of text from you in a second. Give me a sec. that people are so focused on avoiding emotional experiences, and that if we can get them to turn that around to rather learn to accept those emotional experiences, that can do a lot of good for people as well. And it fits in so well with this model to say, avoiding emotions, turning them off, we don't have that power. We've already spoken about that. But accepting the emotion, in other words, noticing it's there, but choosing to focus on something else instead. We're not taking it out of our awareness, we're just sort of taking it from here in front of us, just off to the side, where we still know it's there, but it doesn't have to completely impact on what we're doing. That's an ideal way to deal with those emotions. Okay, let me see. My therapist and I were talking about shame, and he asked me these weird questions from a paper that he emailed me. He asked me, what does shame taste like? And I told him there isn't enough pot in the world to get me to think that's existentialist. And in theory, it's okay if you have strong emotions because you can still be in control of your behavior. And I love that you add the in theory disclaimer, but basically, yes, that general idea there is to say our emotions do not have to dictate our behavior. Now that doesn't mean that they never will, and really what's important to consider as well is that the large majority of time that emotions control behavior is when we're unaware of the emotions and the effect they're having on our behavior. As soon as we have that awareness, when we start to realize, oh, my anxiety is, I don't know, is pushing me away from studying for that test, then I can start to make decisions for myself to say, well, do I really want to allow it to control my behavior that way, or do I want to change my behavior despite the emotion? Because in some ways, avoiding studying for the test then is... Why is it making so much noise? Oh, I think this thing is falling slowly but surely. Or knocking stuff over. Okay, there we go. I want to empty my bag. And so once I understand, okay, I'm avoiding studying because I'm anxious. If I can then start to get into that mind frame of, you know what, I don't like being anxious, but it's okay that I am. It's not the end of the world to feel anxious. Then that pushes me more and more towards probably engaging in the behavior I want to engage in, while accepting the fact that, okay, there is anxiety here, and I can be okay with that. Emailed me all the stuff we talked about, and I still don't see the point to the damn questions. Keiko, I must admit I'm curious about this. Talking about shame, and he asked me questions from a paper. He asked me, what does shame taste like? What does shame taste like? I'm trying to sort of get myself into the therapist's head there to imagine what he's aiming for with that question. The closest I can get to, which is I wouldn't have approached it the way he's doing it, but well, she, I don't know. Wait, oh, he asked. Yeah, okay. I wouldn't approach, if this is what he's going for, I wouldn't have approached it that way, but maybe it works, I suppose. We often use senses in a therapy setting to induce a mindful state. So you've maybe heard of those exercises where they do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 thing, where they say, okay, name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can feel, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste, something along those lines. And they're getting you to mentally pay attention to each of your senses. And what we often use that for is to induce a state of mindfulness, so that from there we can then sort of go to the shame state and say, okay, while you're experiencing this shame, tell me about what's going on with you. What sort of thought processes are going through your head? What kind of behavior do you notice in yourself? Are you sitting twiddling your thumbs or pulling your hair or chewing your teeth or definitely there's a grounding element to it. Like grounding, and what it's potentially taking you away from is taking you away from sort of hyper fixating on this emotion, going, oh God, I can't stand this horrible emotion, and broadening that awareness a little bit to go, hey, wow, there's this really sucky emotion right here. There's also a bunch of other emotions here, and some thoughts here, and behaviors here, and this here, and that here, and there's all this other stuff going on around me. And when I look at it all in context, the shaming sucks. The shame sucks. I don't want it there, but it's one relatively small part of my whole experience. It becomes much bigger once I sit and stare at it and make it sort of my all-consuming focus. But now that I understand I don't have to focus on something if I don't want to, I can now say, okay, right, I'm going to put that aside, focus on something else. It's not that it's gone away, and it might still jump into my focus from time to time, but each time I can just say, right, I'm going to replace that with a new focus. And so that would be my best guess as to why he asked you that question about what does it taste like. It's the closest I'm getting. I don't know. I guess you'll find out the next time you talk to your therapist, and you can tell him you spoke to the therapist dude online who said question mark. I'm trying to get you to reflect on your experience or something. Yeah, and that would make perfect sense. You know, getting to reflect on the experience of something like shame. That makes sense to me. Just the particular. I mean, but at the same time, I'd want to spell that out to say, hey, I'm getting you to do this so that blah blah blah, you know, not just leave it at this really weird existential question. I'm not sure that the taste of shame is a particularly existential thing, but hey, I could be wrong, I suppose. Okay, I've just done a good chunk of exploring at the top here, and I haven't seen much. Or at least much of that I particularly want. So I'm thinking I'll maybe go down and dig a tunnel down and see if I can find some underground stuff. So let's... Oh, no, don't want to drop too far. Oh, except I need... I need some tethers, yeah, there we go. And I see a hole. It would maybe actually make sense just to dig that out of my way. Okay, and then... Ooh, this is going to be a nasty one to come back up again. Oh, hello. That is a very deep hole. Why is that so deep? No! No! But why did that just fail so miserably? Bring that over here. No, that did not go the way I planned it to. I think I'm also a little bit confused about which direction is up right now, which is not helping matters. Let me just reset that viewpoint a little bit. I see stuff down there, but I don't know what it is. And that's a good thing. I like stuff that I don't know what it is. Okay, let's go see. M-dash, what are we oohing at? Or was it just... Oh, I thought I was connected to a tether. Wait. Why did that just disconnect or connect and disconnect? Hey. What is going on here? Ah, sneaky. Wait, did it blow over? That's confusing. Okay, well, I do like the sound of oxygen flowing into the tank again. I'm thinking if I do that, I'm going to make myself a long bridge down this way. Oops. That is new stuff. What is it? What is it? Please tell me it's copper. Excuse me, wolframite? Tungsten? Ooh, I've had tungsten before. Okay, this stuff is definitely going back to planet Earth with me later. I was thinking before I was going to take those research objects, but screw that, there's wolframite. Let's toss out this little bit of compound. No, I don't want to drop you on the... Wow, I don't care too much, but let's put you there maybe. Will you sit if I put you there? Yes, you will. Okay, I'm thinking if I tether my way down, and then I'll have space for one more little thing of tungsten. Plus, I'm not sure if that's tungsten as well. And there. I mean, he knows where it comes from. Catholic guilt is strong. When he asked me what shame smelled like, I told him a blown-out match, referring to the candles in the church. This man doesn't get paid enough to listen to my crazy bullshit. And gee, I do like the association there. You know, candles and candles and guilt. Like that's ooh, I didn't mean to do that. That's quite the metaphor you've got going there. I have 2 more tethers, and then I can pick those up. And then, nope, drop the last one. Oh, right there. That okay. So that goes deeper. Let's go drop this off back up at base, and then we'll come back down here. Yes. Okay. I found a new substance on the moon. Well done. Yeah, I gotta say, like, I've got a friend in Ireland who's she grew up Catholic, and I think she struggles because I think, like, on the one side she doesn't want to, like, abandon the faith sort of thing, and you know, being Irish, I guess there's a lot of connection to faith related stuff there, but at the same time, like, I think she struggles with a lot of the kind of guilt related stuff and things that the church does, and like stuff that she doesn't agree with. So like I'm not, my father's side of the family was Catholic. Thankfully I didn't grow up Catholic, so I didn't get any of that bullshit. No, the guilt bullshit, I mean. I don't mean to diss the religion. But yeah, no, Catholic guilt is a force to be reckoned with. On the plus side, it pays for a lot of therapist salaries, so there's that. God. I'm gonna finish off this Dr. Pepper. Wait, did I? No, I need to make more tethers. Well, actually, we can pick up this, and then we'll go a little further down the rabbit hole just to see, because I think there might be copper on this planet as well. Oh, don't want to fall down there, but we do want to go down there. Where I did like that I just did the concentration phase. Is that too steep? That's maybe too steep. Let's take that one. I straight up told him that my goal in therapy is to stop thinking about how much my parents would disapprove every time I'm having sex. So, okay girl, to take that back to the topic we were just talking about, the whole pink elephant thoughts thing. Think of a pink elephant, sure, no problem. I can pop a pink elephant into my head. Stop thinking about a pink elephant, a little more difficult to do. And I think, oh, excuse me, hello Dr. Pepper, sorry about that. I think you've got a very similar expectation of yourself there to say, hey, all I want to do is do this impossible thing of stop thinking a particular thought, which is not necessarily the most likely thing that's going to happen. Okay, this is still more tungsten, which I don't mind finding more tungsten, but it's not what I'm here to look for. Well, not now that I've found a whole bunch of it already. So what I might say, you know, with that idea of, you know, stop thinking about how much my parents would disapprove, maybe to take the idea of saying, you know what, that thought of your parents' disapproval is probably not going to just disappear. And as much as you don't want it there, you don't have to choose to focus on it if you're aware that, hey, listen, this thought has popped in, but I'd like to choose to focus on something else instead. Come back. Ah, there we go. We saved the thing. Wolframite. I've probably actually got enough to run or to fly back to Earth now and come back again afterwards. I think I might just do that. Going. Wait, I do want to have a quick look around here. You're not going to fall, hey? No. Okay, cool. Big open cavern, lots of death plants. I love how the little plants make the biggest explosions. It's kind of ridiculous. I can't pick those up right now. You're just more of. I'll just leave that on the floor. That's fine. Okay. Breathing. Okay. Which you said, oh, that's fair. So that sounds totally normal. Then I said, it's normal until you realize that you're right on the edge of an orgasm, and then your mom or dad pops into your head. It's like I'm Freud's dream client. Mommy issues, daddy issues, Freud's favorite. But I mean, in that way, you know, I was laughing the other day in Dr. Mick's channel when he was sort of dissing Freud and being like, oh god, you know, Freud is so full of shit, sort of thing. I mean, he didn't say it in as many words as that, but still sort of that idea, like whereas when we look at situations like this and we say, hey, look, our parents really have this giant effect on us, Freud was kind of onto something there, I'm afraid. Okay, where am I wanting to go? Over here. Now we're going to choose which resources we're taking back with us to El Home Planito. As you can hear, I don't speak any Spanish whatsoever. I think I just want wolframite, honestly. Let's just pop that in the bag. I can't actually. Okay, we'll leave the tethers here because those will be useful for coming back to. And we'll grab some more of that. I could just get a new work life and yeah, actually, I can get a new work light when I go back, and so I'm gonna fill that up. Soil canister, I'm not sure. Do that. But yeah, so Kager, I'd encourage you to think about the likelihood of that goal. You know, stop thinking about X and see if there's potentially a different approach you can take to it. You know, I'm not saying I want you to think of your mom and dad every time you are about to orgasm, but rather just to sort of be able to say to yourself, you know what, there's a fair chance for at least a little while still that thought is going to be in there. And as much as I don't want it there, it's there. Let's have as good a time as I can despite that. You know, let's enjoy everything else and engage in the behavior and the thought focus that you want, even though that might intrude on your thoughts sometimes. Because ironically, what generally happens with this thought process as well is as long as we're sitting there going, I mustn't have this thought, what it's doing in our unconscious is your unconscious is going, oh, this thought that we've singled out as a bad thing, this is a bad thing. And this is an important thing. I need to bring it to mind a lot. You know, it's kind of like, it's like when I'm running around in this game and I'm trying to dodge holes. What I'm doing, because I've got this concept of avoid the holes in the ground, I'm focusing on the holes in the ground. I'm never going to get the holes out of my mind unless I, one day, which I'm not going to do in the game, but unless I got to the point of saying, you know what, sometimes I'm going to fall in a hole. That's okay. It's not ideal, but if I fall in the hole, I fall in the hole. I'll get back up out of it. It's fine. It's not going to, well, it could kill me in this game, but it's fine. It's not a big issue. And the same with this sort of thought, to be able to go, you know, if I think of them, I think of them. It sucks, but it's not the end all and be all. It's okay if they pop into my head occasionally. I'm just going to focus on something else, and the alcohol helps. Well, I'm not sure that alcohol helps orgasms necessarily, but I get what you're saying. Until therapy cracks this one, I'm staying celibate, which is harder than I thought. That's what she said. God. Well played, K-Girl. But yeah, I mean, that, you know, as long as you've got this idea of, I have to stay away from this thought, your unconscious is going to be sort of keeping mental tabs on that thought as well as possible. Whereas as soon as you can get to the point of going, you know what, that thought is an unwanted one, but it's there, whatever, then your mind's not looking out for that thought the whole time. Then it's ironically easier to get that thought out of your head than it will be if you've got this expectation of, I must stop thinking of this thought. Okay, I think we're ready to go back to Earth. I hope I can take off from here. Oh good, I can. Okay. Now I just hope I can find that spot again, because I didn't have anything for a beacon. And there's no way I'm going to see from space where that was. Okay, so I was just on the moon, wasn't I? No, where was I? I was on here, and I want to go to Silver. Oh, I see. They even tell me the resources. Wait, does it tell me these resources? Oh, I see. Okay, what about the other ones then? Or do I not know what they have yet? Malachite. That's what I want. Okay, so we need to go back there at some point. But first, we're going to go back to Earth. That makes sense. Okay, cool. I'm glad that makes sense. But at the same time... Ooh. God, am I about to crash land on Earth? Oh, no, I'm not. Okay, good. I want to go over there. God. Okay, so now I'm going to have to float around the Earth until I get all the way back to the home thingy. Okay, if I'm going this way, it's going to appear here at some point. Okay, cool. So now I can have a nice stretch while I wait for orbit to put me in the spot I want to be. Well, it would really suck if I landed in the wrong spot now and then I had to run like absolutely forever to get back to my base. So let's not do that, shall we? I'm assuming I should see the beacons nearby once I'm sufficient. Wait, is that a beacon I see over there? I think that might be. Oh, come on. Rotate. It might be this one that I'm trying to go to. No, oh no, that's the teleporting thing. Ah, okay, so it wasn't that. There we go. We're coming up on one marker. Does that mean I want to go here? Shoot, I'm not sure. I feel like this perspective is really not helping matters. We could go for this bubble, or... there we go, there we go. I see a bunch of pins in that one. Okay, good thing I didn't rush. Wait, I think? Oh god, is it? I mean, that one's got a bunch in it. But I can't tell... Oh god, I think it's that bubble. You know what, that's as good a bubble as any. Let's go. If it's the wrong one, I will be a sad gecko. Ooh. Am I okay? Yes! Wait. Oh, and I did land on the landing pad. Okay, awesome. You have to be up in 4 hours. Oh no, okay, go sleep, quick. Oh god. Ugh. I'm sorry. Thank you for joining. Thank you for sacrificing your sleep to come join us. I hope you sleep really well, and that Mom and Dad have disappeared from here tomorrow. But not disappeared completely. We still want them around, I hope. Good night, K-Girl. Sleep well. I should probably consider the same in the not too distant future, because it's coming up on bedtime. This... Oh, hey, that even... Okay, that's cool. Okay, we can take that off. We can find the smelter. Oh, I'm excited. I get tungsten. Thanks, cool. And we're going to pop this stuff on here and get a whole bunch of tungsten. Jeez, you have to go off planet just to get tungsten. Well, and copper apparently. And this one, please. And then this one on here. What was on? Oh, did I have a battery? I had a wind power thing, but I've got plenty of those, so we can just grab one of these, stick it on there. No, not really. A million lights or a million wind powers, and I pick up the light. Okay. This. Ooh, am I? I'm running out of oxygen. I've got to load the oxygenator into my... Oh god. That would have been sad. I've been like, but I'm in my base. How can this happen? Oxygenator. Jeez, okay, I need to build another one of those ASAP. Okay. Now I guess I have oxygen throughout the base. And I need to go find out what I can build with tungsten. Probably not that much, honestly. I probably need copper more than I need tungsten. But let's go look. Look at my shiny. I have tungsten. What can I make? Wait, no, that was compound. Yeah, I probably haven't researched anything that needs tungsten, which means I need to go sit through my research pack again and browse through. They need to give me like a filter for this to do all the things that require tungsten, because this is going to be a pain in the neck. Alright, let's go see. Copper, glass, lithium, copper. I'm literally just looking for the word tungsten. Wait. Tungsten carbide. I'm assuming that's different to this. Yeah, that's just tungsten. Back to here. I love how it's belching the fire. So it's kind of like, it is kind of like Subnautica in space. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of similarities to that. Like it's all, although I don't think there's any animals in this one, where Subnautica's got a bunch of animals in it. What's really cool about this one though is it has multiplayer. It used to be up to 4 people. I'm not sure if there's now more or not, but yeah, basically that's one of the big things is there's multiplayer in this, which is Space Nautica. But the multiplayer in this is so much fun. I can make a medium generator now, which I have a bunch of, but yeah. Platform I don't care for. Tungsten carbide again. Wait. Titanium alloy, tungsten. Everything needs tungsten carbide. What was it? Carbide. Sorry. I am actually. I've got some friends that. Wait. Oh, I need rubber for that. I've got some friends that I usually play this, or that I used to play this with back when it was still in alpha, and I'm looking forward to getting some game time in with them once, or now that it's in full. Chemistry lab, ceramic, glass, and tungsten done. Okay, that's what we're doing. Ceramic, that's you. Glass, I'm sure we have some glass somewhere, and if we don't, we have quartz. In fact, we'll just make some because we're too excited. And we need that now. Let's stick that in my bag. And we'll get glass. Sweet! Okay, we're making something new. Yeah, now I'm looking forward to playing this game with a bunch of friends. Zooming out is so much better. In fact, I feel like I was kind of getting drawn in before, and now I can just sort of sit back and, oh right, I zoomed out, okay. Did I just researched something in here. Chemistry lab, there we go. Go, my pretty. Where am I putting this chemistry lab? There must be. Probably pull some storage off of one of those and put this on in its place. Yeah, that should be good. Okay. Yeah, games are always cool with friends. And this game in particular, like, it's nice to kind of be like, okay, I'll go get this, you do that, we get together and we help each other out and dig each other into holes and kill each other, and, you know, cooperative games, what you're supposed to do. Chemistry lab. Ooh, it's so tall and shiny. Right, we're gonna actually take that off and put this on here. Nah. Yeah, let's try it. Wait. Okay, maybe it can't go on a small one. Never mind, we're gonna undo what we just did and take these off. Oh, apparently it needs a bigger one. Okay. Ooh, ping it says. Alright, what does this do? Organic. Ooh, organic plus resin makes rubber. Rubber, plastic, alloys, carbide. Oh my god, diamond. Oh my god, I've just opened like a world of resources. Explosive powder. Oh god. Steel. Titanium. Jeez. Okay, I can do all the things in here. But I think I will do that the next time I play. So next time I play, if you're online when I'm here, remind me to come use the chemistry lab, because otherwise I'm going to be like, oh, what am I doing? And completely forget what I was supposed to be doing. Let's drop that over there. What's this one? Carbon. I actually need organic now. Jeez, it's been ages since I've needed that. But okay, I'm going to go do my usual Astroneer sign-off, which is stand in front of the open door, look at the camera, and say, bye. Thanks for joining. I really need to... Yeah, I really need to sort out my streaming schedule because I haven't been sticking to it very well, and I'd like to be a little more predictable. So what I think I might do is get some fixed times for a few days a week and then just be a little more flexible with the others. Thank you for joining the stream, Endash. It was very cool of you to be here. Yeah, I hope you guys have a good night, and I'll be online. I'm not going to make a promise for now. I'm going to be online sometime tomorrow, and then tomorrow I'll also set up my schedule for next week to have some slightly more predictable times. Have a good night, guys. I'm jumping in there, and we can kill the stream. Bye, guys. Cheers, Check. And who else was there? Kilroy, if you're still there. See you next time.